I knew something was wrong the moment my wife, Emily, grabbed my phone by mistake. We were getting ready for our friend Mark's promotion party. I had left my phone charging on the dresser, and hers buzzed at the same time. She picked mine up instead, and in that split second, her whole face changed. Not shocked, not confused, but terrified. She quickly put it down, almost dropping it, and forced a smile. Oops, wrong one. It was an expression I had never seen on her. Not in 8 years of marriage. That's when the unease began. At the party, the feeling didn't leave me. It sank deeper, settling behind my ribs, making everything feel slightly off balance. Emily was too cheerful, almost jittery, hugging people too long, whispering with her best friend, Sarah, in the corner. And every time she glanced at me, she looked away too quickly. I kept asking myself what I had done wrong. Had I forgotten something? Our anniversary? An appointment? A promise? Because the way she looked at me wasn't normal. It was guilty, and guilt has a weight you can feel without being told. But nothing prepared me for what came next. Near the end of the night, when everyone was a little loud and a little buzzed, Mark tapped a spoon against a glass. Everyone, attention. Emily wants to say something. I froze. Nobody had told me she planned to speak. Emily walked toward the center of the room, trembling, not with fear, but with excitement. Her eyes glistened. Her smile was bright, wide, and somehow wrong. She looked at me as if she expected me to be thrilled. As most of you know, she began, Adam and I have been talking about starting a family. We had talked about it lightly, nothing urgent, nothing planned. She took a shaky breath. And I didn't want to wait until we got home to tell him. Something inside me tightened, pulling me forward and backward at the same time. Adam, she said, voice cracking with emotion, you're going to be a father. The room erupted. Cheers. Applause. Someone whistled. Mark slapped my back, so hard I nearly spilled my drink. People hugged her, surrounded her, celebrated around us. And me? I just stood there, completely still, completely numb, completely unable to breathe, because her announcement didn't just surprise me, it made no sense. There had been no hints, no late-period discussions, no tests in the trash, no moments of hesitation or nervousness at home. Nothing. She hadn't even touched me in weeks. I tried to smile, tried to pretend, tried to be the man everyone expected in that moment. But I couldn't force joy into a space where only dread lived. When the noise finally faded and people drifted away, I pulled Emily aside. Why didn't you tell me before? I asked voice tight. She laughed nervously. I wanted it to be special. How long have you known? Her jaw tensed. A few weeks. A few weeks, I repeated, feeling my throat close. Emily, why now? Why like this? She looked everywhere except at me. I just thought, after everything, we could use some good news. After everything. The phrase dropped heavily between us. Because everything meant the distance between us lately. Her late-night work messages. The sudden secrecy with her phone. The nights she said she was exhausted and fell asleep facing away from me. All of it hit me at once. Emily, I whispered, is it mine? Her entire body stilled. Her lips parted, then closed. Her eyes filled with tears, not the joyful kind. Adam, she breathed, barely audible. Please don't do this here. That's not an answer. She looked at the floor. I don't know. The silence that followed wasn't loud. It wasn't explosive. It was quiet enough to hear my own heartbeat breaking. Because the truth wasn't shouted. It wasn't confessed dramatically. It was whispered, barely, and it was enough. We drove home in silence. Every memory I had of us, our wedding vows, our late-night talks, our trips, suddenly felt stained. Not false, but fragile, like they could crack under the weight of this new truth. When we finally sat together on the couch, she broke. She told me about the loneliness she'd felt, the fear that I didn't want kids, the mistake she'd made with someone from work. She didn't offend herself. She didn't try to make it smaller than it was. She just cried, and I listened, because listening hurt less than speaking. In the end, we both knew what had to happen. There was no screaming, no slamming doors, no dramatic exit. Just two people realizing the version of their marriage they believed in wasn't the one they were living anymore. Before I walked out of the house that night, she grabbed my hand one last time. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know," I said, "and I hope you find the peace you were looking for." I left quietly, and for the first time in months, the air felt honest, not happy, not healed, but honest. And sometimes that's where rebuilding starts.